Live viewer comments on StreamYard. Okay, live viewer comments. I don't know why this is so difficult. Share your refund. I'm live. I guess nobody's here, but I'm going to try to eat an orange while I talk to you. There are some people. Ham is going to have a call at 9 o'clock, so I'll be here so we can listen and we can discuss it afterwards. That's a lot of people. I heard some. I heard some information which contradicts what my instincts are. You know, that's the problem. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. But my understanding is I don't know how much I'm supposed to say, so we'll see what Ham says. But my understanding is there are some buyers out there. And, you know, that could be something that changes my view on it, if it's true. You know, let's see what Ham says. I'm totally hope my analysis proves to be wanting. I hope that's the case. Somebody else called me and said that they believe Tony and this woman Amy, somebody like that, they're short finger apparently. I don't know. I have no way of knowing. You are confused. We'll leave you with that. We'll just agree that you are confused. Hey, Lucid Heart, Stony Bones. It is round two in a way, but I hope I don't get pugilistic. I don't want to react to anybody. I really don't. You know, a lot of the reason I get frustrated is I hear the same things over and over again. And I know it's the same thing congressmen and congresswomen are hearing. They all speak from the same page. This is a coordinated attack to steal your money. And we can be gentlemen about it, gentlewomen. Oh, I wouldn't want to say the wrong thing, you know. We're woke and we got to be woke, but they're going to keep stealing. And what bothers me, we shouldn't have to be the heavies. The heavy should be the SEC. The heavy should be, you know, your own brokerage firm. But there's, I guess it's like my dad says about peace. There's very little money in following the rules. I read a story today. I just read the headline. A woman went to sleep and woke up without her legs. And now she's $70 million richer and she's smiling. But I was thinking, would you rather have your legs or $70 million from the settlement? Whatever happened to her. I think I'd rather have my legs. I think people are all warped on money. They're all warped on money. All warped on money. read another story. Headline. Some guitarist I never heard of, Montana, 60 years old, got in a fight with his neighbor over the leaves on the lawn, pulled out a gun. I think he injured somebody. The police came, shot him dead. What's he doing now right up there? Well, I wonder why I did that. We're just all weird. Yeah, somebody told me, called me afterward, said that guy definitely recommended Ape, and he also is rumored to be short finger, maybe short the calls. I don't know. I don't know how to prove it. He could just be an AI bot. That other guy talked to me today was AI. He says, "Hi, app." That's AI. Oh. Serenity now. I'm trying to eat an orange, but it's not easy to eat, and it's getting juice all over me. Sure, William. You know, the hard thing is, for me anyway, is work isn't work unless you get results or have a reasonable chance at results. So sometimes I feel like I screw it up when I lose my cool. Now my hands are all sticky. $17 and 102. Let's see what he says on 102. You know, I was thinking I should write a book on all this. There's so many books out there. So many books. I'm looking in Jim Rickard's book about Fort Knox. And I swear he made the point that we did have enough gold. But I don't see it. All right, let's see. So this is Jim Rickards. Some conspiracy fans claim there is no gold stored at Fort Knox. When was this written? Let me tell you. The book is called The New Case for Gold, Jim Rickards, written or published 2016. And I've had it that long, it's turning brown. Some conspiracy fans claim there is no gold stored at Fort Knox. Really? If gold were as valuable as they claim, why would the U.S. government let the gold out of its sight? In fact, the bulk of the United States gold hoard is safe and sound in Fort Knox, Kentucky, and West Point, New York, with much smaller amounts at the Denver Mint and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. This statement here is going to be the basis of how Donald Trump tries to save our currency, I think. This gold may be leased to others through the Bank for International Settlements in Basel, Switzerland. Basel? Yet that does not mean the United States gold is not in U.S. custody. Gold leasing is a paper transaction with no requirement for physical delivery. Other gold supporters claim the fact that the United States has not audited its gold hoard proves that the gold is not there. In fact, it proves just the opposite, according to Jim Rickards. The United States government has a powerful interest in downplaying gold's importance. The government wants its citizens to forget their gold even exists, whilst keeping more than 8,000 metric tons in deep storage. Do you know, for the guys that and girls that invested in that private, almost private, sort of private gold company, I guess a year ago, on paper, conceptually, that gold company has more gold than the U.S. 8,000 metric tons. That's your upside. It's also important to note that audits are reserved for important assets, not trivial ones. By refusing to do an audit, the government maintains the pretense that gold is trivial. Okay. Is the Fed broke? That's the kind of detail that Tony Nenada de Janeiro would want to read. I should send him this book because he's the detail guy. I'm just the crackhead. All right, let's see what everybody, we've got 15 minutes to call into the hamster. And we'll see. Hi, Ryan, you were first this time. David, Carnegie's Painter, Ramiro, Chad. Lock Me Up, P-Man, Red Pepperoni, Tom FP. I'm confused. Oh, that's right. You're the one that's confused. We're going to leave you in your confusion. Well, Ham will be down there, but he'll probably want Texas pizza. Texas pizza is probably a code word for something. I don't know. Do you think I should move some of my G-Bucks into Finger? I find as soon as you sell something, it goes up. As soon as you move it, it goes down. If you're in the mood to move, I would put my G-Bucks into Nixie. I'd do it tomorrow. G-Bucks looks good, but I think, as I told you, the fact that Ham says we'll wait till finger goes and then we'll come back to G-Bucks, that just gives me a sense, I don't know for sure, that G-Bucks is going to take, another week or so. I think Nixie could start moving next week. So I know Nixie isn't sexy, isn't pixie, isn't Dairo hasn't done his research on it. He's probably not short Nixie. But you've got a small float, small market cap. They've already got the news out on what they intend to do, eventually be $1 billion company. But when things move well in markets, the projected benefit gets discounted in the stock price now. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. And I think it's May now. So maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, we'll start hearing, or the following, I know. But I just think May is about enough time for them to follow up on what they've already announced. So if you want to move some money, I would move G-Bucks to Nixie. What's your risk? G-Bucks is the one stock that squeezes, and it starts next week and you miss out. You have to acknowledge that risk. On the other hand, G-Bucks may stay flat within a range for the next 3 or 4 weeks, 2 weeks, I don't know. I think G-Bucks has to do something before their dividend. And if I remember correctly, that dividend was either the 10th or the 15th or the 14th. You can look it up. So that gives you a little time to play Nixie if I'm right on Nixie. Anyway, I wouldn't get out of G-Bucks to go into finger. But listen to him tonight. Maybe that'll convince you should. By the way, there's nothing wrong with swapping. You just have to understand the risk you're taking. Finger could have a hell of a move. I've already expressed, which I think Ham is going to counteract tonight. And I'd be glad to be wrong. But I've expressed my concern that Finger is going to have to raise money. And that's the shorts talking. Well, no, it's me talking. They got to save that contract. It would be very smart. It'd be a very wise thing to do. But the question is how they do it. Maybe Ham has information on that. What price they do it. What format. All those things. We don't know any of that yet. So when I expressed my thoughts earlier, I was trying to look at it from a, I don't know, what I expect standpoint, and I could be wrong. But if you get out of one and go in the other, I think all 4 of these stocks have the potential to squeeze. I think Railtown's not as much of a squeeze play, but they probably have some shorts. G-Bucks apparently has a short. I can't remember the numbers. It's something like almost 3 million shares short and just over 1 million shares long in the float, in the real float. Is that enough to make it squeeze? Probably not once Dairo's friends start shorting it. It'd be just the stock he'd try to short and then get blown out of. I don't know. I for some reason, he only does his due diligence on Finger and GTII. And then COSM, I saw him do it on, but whatever. Do you think I need to move? No, I don't think you need to, but you can if you want. I would really seriously consider buying Nixie for the next 2 weeks, next 3 weeks, something like that. Wow. Hearing and seeing people shut down trades and accounts over Finger. See, this might mean something's going on with Finger. It's been a long time since there's been this much drama on my show. All right, I'm just checking. We have 11 minutes. I forgot to tell you what earlier. Florida passed a bill to make gold and silver a form of currency. Everything goes so quickly now. There's not going to be a lot of time. I'm pretty short on fingers. Tony's a fellow Texan, so I kind of respect what he puts out. Mostly incomes with AMC and manipulated his followers by a reverse split, amongst other unfactual suggestions. Feel for his followers. Yeah. Well, we all like Texas. Thanks, Bill. Have patience. Most people are grateful for your time. F the shills. Yeah, I gotta stay chill on the shills because I'm not getting any younger. We just got back watching Thunderbolt. I'd be happy to do a live stream with you sometime if you want to just shoot the shit. I don't short shot. I shoot shit, don't short stocks. Say that quickly. Okay. I'm open to doing a live, particularly if you need my paltry set of followers. I've played finger a few times. Long few time on cheap entries, no position. Yeah, I like getting into these things when no one cares. And finger's been a stock that if you can buy it down low and wait, they usually seem to get a play. How enormous the finger pointing will be when the snitching starts. Oh, don't be a jerk, Tony. Sorry, some of y'all. Sorry, what do you say? You're not sorry about anything. Some of y'all don't appreciate alternative opinions or DD. You know, you're such a. If that's how you see the world, see it. People that listen to me, they hear multiple opinions out of my mouth. We try to talk about all sides, and I'm more than willing to hear alternative opinions. I just don't like cocky ass bullshit. And I don't think you'd be making finger videos every day. You think perhaps finger is moving up to the right? Already pricing what the big guys know in the news. Yeah, there might be news. Could be. What I heard in general is there's buying out there, real buying, not short covering, not manipulation. People that really want to own the stock, and I don't feel comfortable saying or implying more, and I'm not trying to imply more than I know. But for me to hear that there's real buying and not just computerized, it means that one of my cautions maybe is irrelevant. And you know, trying to think what DD or opinion Tony put up here that was contrary to us and some of us didn't like to hear. I'm trying to he made the ill-informed observation about the warrants just to scare you. It's the only thing I remember he said of substance. I guess some of that's opinion, I suppose. I don't know. If this report is true, company lawyers have reached out to brokerage firms that have taken the buy. That I didn't hear that. You're the first time I heard it. So I'm going to call in just to make sure that because I often forget. You know, I'm one of those Joe Biden brains. So let me call the number. They're waiting for you at Bellevue with their oxygen mask.
Welcome and thank you for choosing freeconferencecall.com. You're helping people around the world communicate for free. Please enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign. Muted.
Princess cards she sends me with her regards. Oh, barroom eyes shine vacancy. To see her, you've got to look hard. Wounded deep in battle, I stand stuffed like some soldier undaunted. To my Cheshire smile, to her Cheshire smile, I'll stand on file. She's all I ever wanted. Yeah, he's got to do a live. So guys, go over to Tony D. He's full of detail and he's honest, unlike the rest of us. And you know, Tony's doing a live today, so go over to it. He's the best, Tony. Tony D. He's in your corner. Give a shout out to Lou, the guy that found this play. Yeah, I think, I don't know what, I'm not sure if Lou found Finger, but I know he recommended it to people. I agree with you with that. I also think Lou saw early the potential of organizing in a ragtag manner, not in a collusion manner, investors, providing a service that Wall Street no longer provides. And I think Lou was educational. I think he made money for people, not every time, but nobody does. And I think he had charisma and charm. And, you know, that's my shout out to Lou. Long Night from X said it's going to squeeze like AMC. Do you know the gentleman? I don't know Knight, but I sometimes can't sleep at night. Watching on your TV. Yeah, well, this is Walter Cronkite. Cindy, thank you, Ocean Sailing. You're going to think I'm more important than I am. Cindy Lou Who, William, never do a show with Tony Dairo. He talks trash about Finger and is probably a paid shill. He is an AMC fake newser. I agree. I think that's right, Cindy Lou. Ham's going to be on in 1 minute, and then I'll have to shut up. I've been buying 1 share of fngr every trading day since June 24, 2024. Wow, that's nice. Okay, the G-Bucks record date is the 12th. So the thing to bear in mind, I forgot who asked me, if you sell G-Bucks, one of the time frames for finalizing their deal, which is a good deal, I think, would be to get it done before the 12th. And maybe 2 days before the 12th. So that's next week. So maybe you don't want to be out of G-Bucks. Let me make sure I have my speaker on. I do. Oh, it's just 9 o'clock. Did I eat? Yes, I overstuffed. But they couldn't
All
take.
right, everybody, I'm sorry for the 9 o'clock night call, but I needed to go over what was going on here today, and I just wanted to touch base with everybody with what I see and what's happening. Number one, the company's lawyers have been notified that they need to call Vanguard and Fidelity and find out what's going on and what their problem is. So far, everyone that has told me about Fidelity, I haven't dealt with the Vanguard people, I don't know. But Fidelity has just been basically lying to everyone, giving them a different story. A good shareholder out of Boston went up there and with his daughter, and they started out by telling it's a penny stock. They said it has options, and it's a NASDAQ company. Then they backpedaled. Then they came back and said it's volatility. Then they came back and said that it's pump and dump. Then they came back with something else. We heard from other people. You heard it. The company said that the people at Fidelity told them it's a short squeeze stock. All right? Fidelity is your prime broker. You buy the stock. It's their job to get the delivery of the stock. They are not getting delivery. Fidelity is not getting delivery means that they are short to you. The short is short to the firm. The firm's job is to do the settlement. And if they had to stop trading tomorrow, Fidelity would get destroyed over this thing because they have not called in any sales to deliver. So basically, Fidelity is not helping you. They're helping the crooks by not asking for delivery, and that's what they're doing. There's no other way to explain it. Excuse me. Fidelity is not doing their jobs. You have to pay them a commission, and they don't even settle the trades. Again, I don't know Vanguard at all. I know the fund, but I don't know what's happening there. I've spoken to many people with Fidelity, and it's a shit show with Fidelity. I don't know why they're protecting the crooks versus you, but that's what they do. But to take care of that, we're going to put the truck, and I'm going to get their main office, wherever it is in Boston, and then we're going to parade it in front of the SEC and throw Fidelity under the bus. They should be shut down and fined for security fraud. All right, so we're going to take care of Fidelity. We're working on it now. I'll get the signs made up, and we're going to shit and make them know who we are. All right? We are not going to let these guys run any interference to protect the criminal. We're not going to let it happen. All right? The gentleman that I know, John Forrester, has a good connection to Trump. I just said to him on Twitter, enough, get me to Trump already. John knows. John has a guy who's a former chairman of DJT, and he's working with GTI now, and he offered me to make the contact with him, Trump, and now I'm calling him out and saying, okay, John, enough is enough. We'll take care of that. Today's action shows you how dead these guys are. This stock went from $2.25 to $3 like a rocket. And they came in selling and selling and selling, flooding the market with share after share. There's no shares to borrow, so what are they shorting? They can only make it short. It's pretty obvious. Everyone can see there's no shares to borrow. So what is the 1.3, 1.4 million that they sold today? Where did it come from? My friend just sent me a thing, Fidelity's corporate office, and we will take care of it, and we will throw those fuckers under the bus. Everyone at that firm should lose their job because of the back office protecting a criminal. Let's see how everybody feels about that when they lose their jobs. We're going to get them. We're going to make them. We're going to make them a poster child for naked short selling fraud. They want to be part of it. Welcome to the game, Fidelity. I don't give a shit how big they are. We're going to expose them. We're going to get to the newspapers how they're protecting the criminals and exposing everyone who has a position at Fidelity. All right. So I talked about now. I'm just talking about the stock. Thank you, Mike. Just talking about the stock and the activity. Stock popped up, knock it back down. You know, I talked to my brother. Why won't they just let it go higher? Obviously, they can't. You could see the attack and the attacks in waves all day long. They did the same thing the day before. The stock ran to 215. They knocked it to 176. People see the pattern. Today's pattern was a little bit bigger. Okay, I told you they need to create volatility. They want the person who paid $3 for it. They want them to bail out at 250. That's what they try to do. They try to get the day traders, people that are buying it. Oh, I didn't make money on this. Let me buy it. I bought it because it's going to run. And they turn around and they sell it back down. That's their game plan. All right? They want to create volatility to get you nervous, to get you to sell. They did it the day before. It went to 213. They pushed it to 176. Then it opened up and it ran the next day. Same thing is going to probably happen tomorrow. Stock's going to turn and gradually move back up. Punches go through that 309 high, it's going to take off again. All these guys that are short these options, they're short the stock, they need to buy the stock. All right, so obviously we got the option guys, the real short of 2.5 million, and the naked short. They all working together. Okay? Obviously, they knocked it down the naked short because they got to protect the real short and the option short who's choking because think about it. When the stock ran to 3, those $2 calls that were 5 cents, they were over $1. Okay? Think about that. That guy sold 5,000 of them. He lost $500,000 on a 5-cent call. Then the 3s started to lift up, and he's losing money on those, and the 4s and the 5s. They sold all those calls, and they don't get any money in. They're just getting $5, $5 to $10. So think about it. These guys have taken in peanuts and are at risk for millions and millions of dollars. Okay, I told you that. Whoever sells these options is a fool. No one ever thought the 2s would go to $1, right? They're not. Stock's not going up. It went from 2, it went to 310. The 3s almost went into play today before they attacked it. All right, and for all the people that I spoke to on Williams' call who actually listened and sold calls and moved back into cheaper calls and now have calls for free, congratulations, I'm glad I helped you out. And you can see why you should do that because here you go, you got the manipulation. You get to watch it yourself. All right? Now tomorrow, if you did take your money off the table, if they try to knock it down, you can step back in and buy the dip and just repeat it again. So let's say you buy 5,000 shares at 250 or whatever it is, and it goes to 3. Sell it, you make $2,500. You can go buy the $4 calls with the profit. They're giving you the opportunity to buy the dips, sell the rips, buy the dips, sell it, buy calls. Everything is positive for a long player. This buy the dips, sell the rip pattern is going to exist for a while now. Okay? Don't be afraid to do it. It's going to exist. They can't push the stock back down. They know the option. They know the company's coming out with their special dividend at the end of the month. All right? They know it's going to happen. Everybody knows it's going to happen. Again, so they're just trying to create volatility to get you to panic. I'm trying to say with a calm voice. And for my friend Joe in the Carolinas, Joe, it's a very easy crime. Okay, a lot of people don't understand it. Joe doesn't understand it. Everyone, you buy an airline ticket. There's 140 seats on the plane. Why would an airline sell 160 seats? 20 extra seats. And when everybody shows up, they try to pay you to get off the plane. So they make it short of 20 seats. And now they have to pay the price to get people to come off the plane. It's the same thing in the market. They're selling counterfeit shares. You could say, well, why is it called a counterfeit? Because it's just created out of thin air. If the CEO of a public company was to issue one share that was not registered with the SEC, he would go to jail. Hedge funds from offshore are selling stock into the U.S. that's not registered with anybody. They get the proceeds. The CEO of this company now has more shareholders that he doesn't even know exist. If he's got a million shares in the float, he can only have people that represent 1 million shares. Who are all these other people? And Joe, a good case study is Dole Foods. Dole Foods had too many shares. The story's right there. Everyone tries to bury that story, but Dole Foods had 36 million shares. They did a special dividend, and 49 million shares showed up. There were 13 million counterfeit shares in the system. It's a well-known story. It's right there. How do shares get past the SEC, the DTC, FINRA? At least use a yellow marker, like they do in the supermarket for fake 20. The government has nothing. They have nothing to check it out. The Secret Service does nothing. The DOJ's done nothing. The FBI's done nothing. Everyone knows it exists. It's pretty easy. This crime's been going on since 1988, the cover of Forbes, from 1988. All right, these people all know it, and they're just letting it go by. Who's profiting from it? They all belong in jail. All these big hedge funds that are profiting from it, they all belong in jail. Today I went and met a big gentleman, a billionaire from Malaysia. He's a big holder of fngr already. Him and his friends all own it. And he wanted the story about the short. So step by step, I went through it with him, and he couldn't believe it. He asked me what the target price, my target price on it. When I told him, he couldn't believe it. I showed him, I went over the data with him, I showed him the whole thing. He's going home to Malaysia in 2 days. He's going to make sure that his friends in Hong Kong, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Jakarta, everyone owns this stock. He asked me, what should he do? And I said, everyone in those countries, everyone you know, should own at least 1,000 shares of this stock. It can make poor people rich. And he's going to do it. And this is a guy that's super connected in Hong Kong, Jakarta, and Kuala Lumpur, and Singapore. And he's a big holder already. He's been here 5 years. And I asked him if he's selling his stock. He goes, no, we believe it's going a lot higher. Just like I told you, the people from Asia all know this stock is going to $100.
Asia.
They have no intentions to sell it. The stock went to 17 on them, didn't sell it. Went to 10, it didn't sell it. Went to 7, it didn't sell it. They know it's going to the moon because these guys have the contacts in all Asia to build up finger motion. They all know it. The Chinese government has knighted finger motion to be a major player. Okay? It's taken a little time, but it'll get there. And they all know about it. I was with the guy today. He's going to go out and he's going to help us get more buyers into the stock. And he said the exact same thing I said. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen now. He agrees. All right? He said the same thing I said. And he also said the same thing. Because they can't fight the whole world. And I said, absolutely not. I told him about Fidelity. He was going to email the company and tell them to get their lawyers to make sure that they handle this and get answers for everybody. And that went that way. And to the big people that I know, they all did the same thing. We want the company's management and their lawyers to address what's going on with Fidelity and Vanguard. And I expect that to happen. So I guess maybe tomorrow they'll be calling. It's Friday. They'll be calling and hopefully get an answer for it, put out a press release about what's going on with the U.S. brokerage firms. What does Fidelity have the right to shut down people that bought the stock? They're already in the stock. To somehow tell people that it's a pump and dump, it's volatility, it's manipulation. They give up every excuse in the world and even told people that it's a short squeeze stock. So these guys have made 40 different comments already. So we'll address it back and we'll insult them and give them the bad press that they deserve, and we'll make sure that they get it. They want to play games, they're going to lose. We're going to make people cancel their accounts and move it to someplace else. They want to fuck around, we'll fuck around back. All right? We got nothing to lose. They have everything to lose. It's a good name, which I always believed Fidelity was a good name. But seeing this, it's just unbelievable. Let's go back in time. GameStop. No one ever shut down the buy button in GameStop. They did when it got to 500. Robinhood did. But no one ever did it at $3. So single motion is a much bigger squeeze play than GameStop. Why? Because the retail, and that's who buys the Fidelity, has been buying it and putting it away in droves. Everyone is buying it. And this thing is just getting viral and getting stronger and stronger. This is just a matter of when it's going to happen now. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of what day it's going to happen now. Right? This is a massive play that's going to squeeze. And the insult today is that whoever let these guys continue to sell this many shares today is just unbelievable. The whole thing is criminal what they did today. But it's okay. We've been used to it. Everyone here has seen this, right? But it's not like we haven't seen this before. Right? We've seen it the day before. This is their pattern. It's the same pattern. Push it down, sell it down. And just have the mentality. You pay $2 for it. The stock goes to $3. And it starts pulling back. You think people are running to sell it down to $2.30? People have been here for a couple of years. You think they're racing to sell it to make 30 cents? Now they're going to bail out? No one's selling it. You can see the volume dry up all day long. In the morning, I told you I knew people that were going to take it to 3. They bought it up to 3. Once they stop buying, you see the shorts coming trying to attack it back down. But it's okay. It's just more settlement failures, and it just keeps growing and growing. And the people that bought it this morning, okay, that are pretty big players, they probably bought 500,000 shares. Wow. They're going to tell their friends to buy it now. They're in, so they're going to tell their friends. Wow. It just gets more viral and viral and viral. This is just going to keep getting better. If they try to push it down, we're just getting stock cheaper. All right? They want to push it down, no big deal. I told you, sellers come into the stock when it goes up. Buyers come into it when they push it down. Each day that goes by, this is getting stronger and stronger. If the stock was $20 or $30, I wouldn't speak like that because it's very dangerous when it gets to be a big number. When the numbers are this low, there's nobody. Where's the risk? They're trying to create. If you just look at the chart, they're just trying to create this big volatility. Like it hit 309, hurry up, get it down to 230. It's a 70-cent swing in the stock. Then you got your bearishes coming out. Do you know the bearishes, so you understand it? A lot of these people work at day trading firms. So when the stock started to get hit, these people, it was a premeditated hit, whoever was calling the shots here. These day trading firms come in and they can make it short, these day trading firms, because they got the market maker exemption. They all come in trying to sell 10 or 20,000 shares, okay? And they start posting, and they want people to sell, because guess what they want to do? They want to buy back their 20, 30,000 shares, whatever they sold, and put them into a day trade and make themselves $7,000 or $5,000 and give them a high five and go on to the next stock. That's what they do. Why not? You can sit there, we're cheering for the stock up, they're going to cheer for it to go down. That's what they do. They all short it. The day trading firms are all fraud. They don't have anywhere to borrow stock. No one's lending. A Fidelity is not lending, shares to short to these small day trading firms. They have no relations. My friend knows about all of them. I could put them on the phone. None of them have a relationship. What happens is, whatever the name of this shit firm is, they'll announce they have a relationship with another shit firm to borrow shares from them. So that's what they say. Oh, I'm going to borrow shares. We have a relationship with XYZ. When we need to short something, we get it from them. That firm is getting it from someplace else. No one gives them the stock. Goldman Sachs is not giving these guys shares. Remember, the people that can lend shares are the people that own the shares. That's how it works. And these characters, this whole day trading thing should be looked at because there is nobody lending these guys shares. And all their trades, they're just naked shorting when they want to sell it. That's why they go there. You go there, you put $50,000 down, and they let you naked short all day long. That's what's going on there. So those bashes you see are just, people that are short 5,000 shares trying to talk the stock down. Again, so I told you about the great meeting I had today. I'm waiting for my contact to land in Singapore and to set up the meeting for me. It looks like I'm probably going to have to leave on Friday and get there Sunday morning so I can be ready for Monday. So I'm just waiting for them to call me, and I'm ready to go. I've got my passport. I'm ready to go. All right, they're setting the meeting. Again, the gentleman I met today is a big Motion shareholder for 5 years. He owns the stock. He was a little in the dark on his short selling, and he was in town, and his friend passed away, and I got a chance to come sit down and talk with me for 2 hours. And he understood it, and he said the same thing with me. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. And this is somebody from Malaysia, this is somebody from Goldman Sachs. Right? Nothing to do with Wall Street, okay? And he understood it, all right? And they have a different mentality. So we want those people in Malaysia, which I will follow up with them on Kuala Lumpur in Hong Kong. He lived in Hong Kong for 20 years. Okay, he's got great relationships there. He knows hedge funds there. And he will work at it, and now he understands. I sent him my target price. He didn't understand the target price. I went through the math with him. And that target price obviously just keeps going up because they keep selling more. Think about that. These guys are willing to sell it down to 230 and buy it back at 400, 500, or 1,000. Obviously, they don't have the money to do it, so they're just trying to hold it down. Wishing and hoping that we would go away, but it's not going to happen. Right? So don't be afraid of that. The patterns are always the same. It's the same thing. Again, told you to create the volatility. I talked about that. I'm talking about the trip. As soon as I get my marching orders, I'll fly out and I'll go take care of the big pension fund that wants to buy the stock or has been buying stock. And you can just see the pattern is the pattern. It's the same pattern. The day before, the stock at 215, they attacked it down, and the next day we were down to 176, and then today it just turned and it went. Okay, that was yesterday. We got to 235, 225, and today it took off. If they were so confident, why were they pushing it down to 176 the day before? All right, they pushed it to 176 the day before. Today they got it down to I think we call it 240.
230.
So people, no matter what we say, the stock continues, even with the assaults, the stock continues to move higher.
That's true.
So these are all positive events. All right. Trump, we all forget that Trump is the wild card here that we're all forgetting. He's going to hammer these guys too. Everyone knows it. So it's just a matter of when it's going to happen. Don't be nervous. Congratulations to all the people that flip their options around and own them for free. All right. And Joe out of the Carolinas, when you buy options or the stock and it runs up, you can sell it. You can buy it back. You can sell it, buy it back. Don't be like a statue. You can play. No one's gonna yell at you. No one cares. This game is about making money for you and your family. Okay? This is survival for everyone here. But the key at the end of the day is this is an opportunity that you're never going to get. Never before has the U.S. government told you which way the stock is going to go. If Trump is going to yell, okay, we know he is, if he's going to yell, the outcome of him yelling is that anyone who's short, who sold stock, will have to buy it back. And when they buy it back, the stocks are going to go up. That's it. It's right there in front of you. Never before has that happened. And you got the opportunity now. You know that Trump is on our side. You know Devin Nunes is on our side. Elon Musk is on our side. The SEC is going to have to address it, and it's going to happen soon. This can't keep hanging out there and kick the can down the road. It's going to be addressed. All right. Besides that, you can see the finger motion. You can see the manipulation in the stock. These guys sold over 1 million something today. I think the number's higher. Okay. And it just keeps growing. 255, I'm going to raise it up to 260 now. All right. We watched them sell 3 million shares in the last couple of days. All right. So the number just keeps growing. They don't buy it back. They just keep trying to push it down. They can't buy it back. They don't have any money. You can't sell stock at $1.76 and try to buy it back at $3. That's not going to last too long. They're real short. He's short 2.5 million shares at $1.20. And that number keeps going down every day because he has to pay the cost to carry. All right, so pretty soon that number is going to be below $1. This idiot is down almost at $3, right? Think about it. At one point at $3, 2.5 million shares. This guy's down over 1.5 points. Think about that. Over $3.5 million, $4 million on a stock that the most he can make is $2.5 million. Who wants that bet? Let me go home and tell my wife I shorted a stock 2.5 million shares. The most I can make is 2.5 million, and I'm down $4 million today. Oh yeah, honey, stay short that stock. You'll be in the poorhouse in an hour. That is a criminal short that's tied to the naked short and tied to the option guy. These guys are all working together. All right?
I talked to the detail
collectively,
man.
They will blow each other up. All right? Options have nothing to do with the stock. If they can't hold it down, it explodes the options. At any given time, the real short will blow up. Anything could happen there. But I just wanted to touch base with you. I don't want to keep you on. It's 9:30 at night. And I'm losing my voice again.
I'm calling him. He's going to say, hey,
welcome, and thank you for choosing freeconferencecall.com. You are helping.
Give more details about you because I'm not allowed to. The guy is a phenomenal friend of the company. Okay? A very powerful guy. He's in the corporate world. He's not a regular Joe Schmo on the street. And they own a lot of stock. And he's a powerful, powerful man in Asia. We don't give a shit because we're stupid Americans. But in Malaysia, I believe Malaysia is one of the biggest, highly populated countries in the world.
You're talking Indonesia.
These countries are populated.
You're talking Indonesia. All right, I'm calling him. Indonesia. I'm calling him. He's going to say, I'm getting off now. He may not pick up. I guess he doesn't want to.
All right, so again,
he didn't want
this company is growing in Asia. Okay, it doesn't have to grow in the U.S. Let everybody in the U.S. kill each other. These guys have picked their spot. It's Asia. All right? And you know what? The people that I'm meeting from Asia, everyone I ever met has been a gentleman. Everyone that I meet out of Wall Street's a total scumbag. All they want to do is they'll steal money from their fucking mother. These guys, they're both scumbags. All of them. I told you before, that Anson Fund guy, he's going to jail for life, this guy. He robbed everybody. Manipulating fake stories with Andrew Left and Hindenburg. For what? They killed companies after companies. For what? These guys are just animals. They don't care about anything. That's what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with normal people. These people are just, they're sick people. They think money is going to guarantee everything in life for them. It's not true. Anyway, I just wanted to do it nice and calm tonight. The markets are closed. And again, when the market's open, it's tough to do this shit because it's in real time and things are moving and we're watching the stocks. But now it's easy. There's no action. We could just sit and talk about it. I wish I could take your questions, but I can't. But again, if you have any questions, reach out on Twitter and I'll answer them. But I'll do the best I can. Anyway, have a great night, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Hang in there.
All right. You heard me call him, but he didn't pick up. So you could have asked your questions. Ralph, this is amazing that they're paying 100%. This happened last time Finger started to squeeze. So, you know, you are tickling my interest on some of these potential squeeze factors. And just to comment on what Ham said about these, I don't know what he called them, shills or something. But they are just these day traders. So a guy like Tony, if that's a real person, I would just guess he sold, with arrogance like his, he probably sold 50,000 shares of fngr at, I don't know, an average price of 180, 220, and it's run on him, so he's got to get into action. Normally he plays in the shadows, that good guy, good smile. He's got to get in action and get you thinking about 5 million warrants, as if that's the issue, because he wants some selling. He wants some suppression of the price so we can move shares around, and at least he can bail his ass out, because he's dumber than a I don't know, a beaver who dams up the Nile before it rains. I think that's amazing. 100% interest. I think that's amazing. All right, so this issue somebody else asked up there, and this issue, I can see the confusion. And there's a piece of the story I don't know. I never worked in the back office. But so now what? When you're treating money as a fractional reserve banking system, let's say you go to TD Bank, or you go to Bank of America, and you deposit $1 million, they're going to, maybe right away, but certainly as quickly as they can, they're going to turn that into $10 million in loans. And frankly, when I read the Grok, I guess it is, the AI service on Google, apparently since COVID, there is no 10-to-1. There's no reserve requirement. So conceptually, you deposit $1 million, they can lend out $100 million. There are some other assets that need to be held, and they'll have their own internal guidelines, risk control. But it's been my contention, and I just found, you heard it with me, I just found last week, I think it was, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, this guy that wrote, George Webb, that did the movie on The Great Taking. He used the exact same words. You've been hearing me say it for 2-3 years. And I feel embarrassed saying it because I don't hear it from anybody else. But he said it. So I guess if he said it, it must be right. What they're doing with the securities banks, the security system, they're trying to do fractional reserve securities. And under William Jefferson Clinton's administration, they act, maybe it helps if I read that again. It's easy to find, I think. It doesn't take too long. I won't read the whole thing. All of a sudden, I don't feel so great. The medicine, I think, that medicine I take for gout is not the best. Anyway, this will have to open up. It takes a while. So the difference is, in the commercial banking system, money is fungible as long as it's the same currency. I give $1 million and it's lent out 10 times, 100 times. It's all the same thing. A lot of a lot of it's created out of thin air. When a bank lends money, they create money out of thin air. But they have, I'm sure it's called algorithms now, but they have a comfort level. How much real money is ever going to be asked for? And that amount's not that high anymore. We do everything by debit cards. So it's just journal entries. Very few people come and ask for money. And if you do, they make it hard, because if you take too much out, you got to go to another bank, and it's over 10,000. I don't understand why everything's so slow. Let's just turn it off. I'll turn it off and start again. Banks know that very few people are going to ask for physical money, so they can lend it out. And all they have to have is enough money if there's a bank run. You've all seen the movie, A Wonderful Life. That's all they need. And since FDR put in the FDIC, and then the Fed has been accommodative, nobody's lost money in banks. So everyone's confident. Well, on the securities side, under Obama, when everything got in trouble, that bald guy from Goldman Sachs went to the White House, and he had first dib on the books and the assets of Shearson and of Bear Stearns. Do you think that's fair? Goldman Sachs got the first dibs. But they divided, taxpayers bailed out Goldman Sachs, these geniuses of Wall Street. And then they divided the firm into FDIC and risk. It's one of the biggest, the banks, Goldman Sachs, these hedge funds, have the entirety of the United States of America working to their bidding. Incredible. It's incredible. And we argue whether Hillary's this or Trump's that. Anyway, the problem with fractional reserve security system, securities are not fungible. If there's, look, I can't get the website, I don't know why, but I did take a picture of part of it, so I can read that part. According to David Rogers Webb's research, the global financial system has increasingly engaged in a practice where all securities, stocks, bonds, other financial assets, I heard they even tried to do it with homes, are used as collateral by the world's largest banks. This practice, known as quote unquote collateral management, is carried out without the explicit knowledge of individual investors and institutional funds. The financial securities are pooled. They're pooled in a centralized depository, such as Depository Trust Clearing Corporation or Euroclear in Europe. Securities are then rehypothecated multiple times. That's a word for saying they just Xerox them as the attachment to derivatives. That's the collateral. And they lend it out 10, 20, 100 times. Then they collect fees. Why? They've set up a system now that every time you buy a stock, it is electronic. Every time you sell it, it's electronic. If you want your physical, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. Once you get it, you can't do anything with it. If you want to sell it, you can't go deposit it at your branch. You have to call some shill out in California. Well, we'll do it. Take 60 days. Send $4,000. You have to open an account here. We'll give you a bid and ask, but we got to do our due diligence to make sure you own it. So you're going to stay electronic. So they rehypothecate. They just lend out stock they don't own. They create extensive collateral chains, which contribute to the rapid expansion of the derivatives market. Now, he goes into the 70s because he doesn't want to blame Bill Clinton. I'm going to skip that. It was legally formalized through the 1994 revision of Article 8 of the Uniform Commercial Code in the United States. And they did it across the sea too. These legal frameworks effectively transferred ownership of securities to central depositories, stripping you, investors, of direct property rights and putting investors' assets at risk in a market crisis. To legalize this activity, in the 1994 revision of the UCC Article 1, the revision introduced the concept of quote unquote securities entitlements. That's just electronic IOUs, which replaced direct ownership of securities with a contract. They replaced your ownership of the securities you buy with a contractual claim, effectively allowing the DTCC to utilize securities at will. The world's biggest hedge fund. Rehypothecation, the practice of reusing pledged collateral to secure multiple obligations, the practice of using collateral already pledged to someone else to pledge it to multiple other parties. Legalized under Bill Clinton. The practice of reusing pledged collateral to secure multiple obligations lies at the heart of this scheme. When banks engage in derivatives trading, they use securities held at the DTCC, and they do it in Europe too, as collateral without the investor's knowledge. Even segregated accounts, which are supposed to be separate from pooled securities, are ultimately included in the same collateral pool. You know, stockbrokers would lose their license if they did this with their clients' accounts. The United States Federal Reserve acknowledged this in legal documents responding to EU regulators, explicitly stating, quoting, investors do not have rights attaching to particular securities in the pool, unquote. Instead, they hold only a pro rata claim to a collective securities pool, effectively making them unsecured creditors in the event of insolvency, the last place you want to be. The legal and regulatory structures introduced under the UCC have effectively turned securities ownership into a form of indirect claim. Rather than having outright ownership, investors are granted a contractual claim that allows financial institutions to prioritize the institution's own interests in using these assets. The legal and regulatory structures introduced under the UCC effectively turned securities ownership into a form of indirect claim. Rather than having outright ownership, investors are granted a contractual claim that allows the financial institution to prioritize its own interests in using these assets. If a major financial crisis were to occur, the first rights to the underlying securities would go to the secured creditors, that's the guys who did the derivative notes, not to the investors themselves. This legal arrangement has allowed the derivatives market to grow to a staggering 1.5 quadrillion. That's 1,500 trillions. Our national debt is 36 trillion. The derivatives are 1,500 trillions. This explosive growth has been driven by the unregulated Bill Clinton and limitless use of client securities as collateral. As more institutions become dependent on rehypothecated collateral, false title to securities, the financial system becomes increasingly fragile. Imagine if everyone in your neighborhood owned a car with the same title, but the woman at the end of the block had the only real title. The rest of the titles were all fake. Let's say she failed to make her payment. Do they come claim all the cars? That's the kind of silliness this is. The failure of a single major institution could trigger a cascade of defaults. You back it all up so that Stevie Cohen can buy the Mets. If such widespread defaults were to take place, the financial institutions would have the legal authority to seize all securities used as collateral for their effing derivative bets. It's your collateral. They're the geniuses. They can seize your collateral to cover their bad bet. So the total amount of securities at the DTCC is 90 trillion. Over in Euroclear, it's 40 trillion. That's 130 trillion. The derivatives are 1.5 quadrillion. Hey, Tony Denaro's the detail man. Detail that, pal. Got Wendy's for dinner. Oh, chicken nuggets. Hey, Sada Aman. I think of you often, Sada. I probably said several prayers for you. You're a good kid. I'm looking at bedtime very soon. I don't know how much longer I'll be on. Last time I was in a squeeze play with Seal, it went 30. I don't think COSM ever went to $40. I think when Lou recommended it, it was 22 cents. I think he bought it cheaper. Something like that. I mean, he might have paid 17 cents or something, recommended it 22, something like that. I don't know, something like that. And then it ran, to my memory, to 78 or 82 cents in one day. They quickly did a deal with the criminals, and it turned out that short squeezes don't happen when you do a name change. Short squeezes don't happen when you change the QSIP. Short squeezes don't happen when the CEO is shorting the stock over offshore. Short squeezes don't happen when the CEO does a deal with the same criminals that probably paid those three guys to bust the squeeze in finger. That's how it works. They all live with each other and see each other up there. They don't care about us. Fidelity shut off the sell button for 2 days. I don't remember that. I don't think Fidelity would ever shut off the sell button. Closing positions, they might tell you you can't short the stock, and that'd be in their right because they're extending credit to you, essentially. I don't think it'll happen. No. They might halt trading if things get out of whack, but I don't think they'll shut the sell button. Jakarta. This is a pump? Show it to me. What's the pump? I'm interested. Poop. What's the pump? You didn't attach a picture. You said this is the pump. I want to see it. Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume. Guys, when the word pump or dump or poop are used, it is a shill. They're paid to cause fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And they do it because they have taken a short position in the stock, hoping sell it at 280, hoping to cover it at 240. Or they sold it at 180 and they're underwater and they want it to go back down. Or they were shorting it to help out a trap short. Or they're being paid to do it. So when you see the words pump, you see the words pump and dump, it's shills. It's shills. They're the ones pumping and dumping. They just take their dump first, and then they can't get it up later. I bet investors in Asia are spreading Ham's insight. It's possible, Kit. So if I have Finger and G-Bucks at Fidelity, Fidelity is not an exchange. It's a broker. It's a broker dealer, and they're an agent for you. I think Fidelity's in trouble with MMAT. I think Fidelity's in trouble with MMTLP, and I think Fidelity got greedy beyond its means. Every single brokerage firm you're in, if your shares are in electronic form, they all put you at risk. When they go down, this is tough to know what to do. I don't think it's happening at any time soon. But if a brokerage firm goes out, you may never get your assets back. It may convert to a bankruptcy, and you're in the unsecured along with tons of other people. So it's a real question if your securities are really safe at a brokerage firm. And there's no way around it. It's very hard to get away from it. Type 1 might help. And that's why, Augustine, I see the next period of time, 1 month, 9 months, as a chance to try to make money and then get some ownership of physical metal out of the system. You've got to get out of the system. Now, when I say that, I think miners, the mining stocks, are going to be wealth creators over the next 1 to 6, 7 years. And those would be in the system. So it's hard to know where to keep your assets. But Fidelity, I think, is in trouble. I don't know if Fidelity is going to go down. I think the firm I'd be most nervous of right now is probably Merrill Lynch, of all things. But I don't really know. I'm basing that on what I read on their silver position. Yeah, Finger had a green day, and you might be right that it's bullish. Ham made a good point. This stock, even though we get involved in the daily drama, it's just been going up. My opinion, it's been going up since $1.04. It just keeps going up. So Poop wants you to know that it's too late to buy in. It's just pumping and dumping. So Poop will give you his phone number so you can call him and find out what his thinking is. It's either every time I mention his name, he gets $7 or he's short the stock. What's the difference between D and I? I don't know. All right, I'm probably going to sign off when I get to the bottom here. Scott Van Dyke. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to stay much longer. Oh, what a puppy dog, Sheriff. That's a good point. That's a good point. They're two different companies. And people did get their dividend. Well, if you take a poop Barlow, make sure you wash your hands afterward. Are you making fun of me? I bought options after watching Black Belt Trader. Then I found your channel. I feel like I've found a gold mine. Ha ha ha. Where have you been all these years, and why do you have only 8,000 followers? I don't know. I don't even think I have that many followers. Where have I been all these years? Well, I worked on Wall Street a long, long time. Then I went to London, and then spent a lot of time traveling Middle East, other parts of the world. Came back here. Been involved in 20, 30 years of private equity to keep it short. It's too bad we didn't run into each other. You seem like a really good guy. I'm not here for followers. I never ask anybody to subscribe. I've never asked anybody to subscribe. I've never pitched for people to subscribe. I've never asked the like button. I've never asked the other bloody button. So I would guess one of the reasons I don't have very many people is I really have not gone after it. But thank you, Axel. I guess if I only have 8,000 followers, what I'm saying must be worthless. Ham thinks fingers trigger price. Oh, the trigger price. Ham thinks it's now. He thinks it's now. And I think he's better at calling that stuff than myself. But this morning it went to 309 and they were able to get it down. I think it has to go higher than 309. And maybe significantly higher. Maybe 350, 450. At some point, if there's sustained buying that doesn't stop, and the stock it'd be great if they did it with some whammo news or event. But if it can start climbing and look like it's not coming down, then you'd have a Fidelity or a TD, Ameritrade start buying on their prime broker side, start asking for collateral when it didn't come in. They start buying in. So that could get exciting. That could get exciting. I said Indonesia. He was talking about Malaysia being the most populous country or one of the most populous countries. I think he meant to say he's thinking of Indonesia. Malaysia, as he would call it, it's not as big. Let's say you already have a nice bag of finger. Yeah, I would get out of GME. GME, I can't, you got to do your own thinking. I can't give financial advice. But GME trades, in my opinion, GME trades at least $20 above what it's worth. And that means you're saying that GME has a $20 premium per share because of Roy Cohen. Is he that smart? He's going to buy Bitcoin, just like imitating the guy out at Tyson's Corner. Anyway, you know the one. I have a Biden brain. Darn it. Begins with an M. Anyway, you think Cohen, so your concept of staying in GME is this. They sell game boards and they do it as good, as well, or better than Amazon. So they can become a miniature Amazon in the game boards area. But they've got to get rid of all their long-term leases that might cost them $2 or $3 a share. And they have overhead all along. But Roy Cohen is going to buy Bitcoin. So all that cash he has, if he buys Bitcoin, let's say he has $7 billion in cash, and he buys Bitcoin. That $7 billion is suddenly worth 27. Well, that's not the way to do it. I don't know how many shares are out. But that $7 a share, maybe in cash, is suddenly worth $27 a share in cash because they bought $7 worth of Bitcoin. It just doesn't make any sense. I do not think GME is going to squeeze. Some people think it will. And I probably will be wrong. I'm not saying I know what I'm talking about. But they ran it to 500, then they ran it to some number, then they recently ran it to 85, then they ran it to 60, then they ran it to 40, then they ran it to 35, then they ran it to 30, now they got it to 27. Every time they do a deal. That boy is under control. So yeah, I would get out of GME. I don't know if you already have Finger, Stoney. I think you'd be very happy tomorrow morning selling GME and buying Nixie, NIXX. And then let's talk about what you do in 2 weeks. Everything's risky, though. Jack, my $3 options expire in August. Is it too early for August? Has nothing. Axel, you're a waste of time. Yeah, I like that, Jack. GME can blast any day. All right. Wait for finger squeezing, or is it just buying pressure? I have no idea what that question means. Thank you, Marlon. I can see that your account is important to you. Stoney summarizes it pretty well, Marlon. Lion thinks GME, once it breaks $30, that's when the action's going to happen. And Lion knows a lot more about GME than I do. Do you think GME is going to go to 300? I think Railtown will go from 30 cents to $3. Do you think Jimmy's going to go from 30 to 300? When Warren Buffett made the statement, if your account is good enough, your position is good enough to take a screenshot of, it's good enough to sell. When do you think it's going to run? Root took a longer time. Yeah, you don't know when it's going to run. Ham thinks it's going to run right away. And if, you know, a lot of this feedback I'm getting, this negative crap is telling me that somebody's stuck. And then we're hearing about the 100%, and we're hearing about trouble at Fidelity. It has my ears open that something might happen. Ham says if it's going to happen, it's going to be now. I still, I guess, Billy, think that what makes finger squeeze is some surprise or a great financing or both after the annual report. So I'm still of a view that it's not going to squeeze for the next 4 or 5 weeks. I could be wrong. Ham, you know, Ham makes a compelling case. And the momentum building and the trap nature and the lying of some of the shills that come on here lead me to believe that you could have buy-ins, at least on those recent shorts. So it could happen much quicker, much more quickly than I'm saying. But I just kind of feel like we got to wait till June to find out. But you make a good point. Nobody knows when they run. They don't let you know. Well, if you didn't miss Ham, you should know that he misses you. He came on earlier. You can rewind. I tried to call in, but I don't much. There was somebody on my channel used to come on from Alabama, I think. He was a prison guard. He would always say that. I don't much like so-and-so. I don't much like so-and-so. Oh, God, this guy's a waste of time. Poops, a shithead. Thank you. I never got my... Oh, you didn't? Well, let me get right on that. Michael Saylor. Sail on down the line about a mile or so. Friends told me so. They said it was just wishful thinking. I don't mind the things you say or do, Lord. You took all my money and my time, but it ain't that hard to say. Won't you just, please just go away? But now I've kicked off, my shoes kicked off. I've thrown away my blues, and I'm looking for a good time, yeah. Sail on, party, good times never felt so good. and sail on, party. So you all have to get away from this game. And I'm telling you, the one thing that's going to squeeze that doesn't have a CEO, doesn't have a board, doesn't have lawyers, doesn't have Jeff Easton, doesn't have market makers. It does have some criminals shorting it. But the one thing you can buy is silver. Now, I know you all like Bitcoin and XRP and XLP and PLP and TLT and XYZ and you like all of that. But let me tell you, as I sign off, why silver is ideal money. This is chapter 3 of The Great Silver Bull by Peter Krauth. Written, published, (2022), dedicated to the ones he loved. It's not very long, but I'm going to read it and then I'm going to sign off. Silver is ideal money. For thousands of years, silver has proven itself to be a superior form of money. Like gold, it has the most suitable characteristics. There are 5 basic reasons this is true, but I'll show you 8 more. I'm paraphrasing just to get through it. Greek philosopher Aristotle, 384 to 322 BC, laid out the 5 main principles. Aristotle. You'll see it's not a coincidence that his Greek predecessors had already been using silver as money for centuries. The 5 reasons silver is the king currency. 1, silver is durable. It won't go rancid like wheat or barley, and it won't fall apart from handling it. All right, we got it. 2, silver is divisible. You can separate it and recombine it, all without affecting its value or properties. That makes it easy to accept as payment in one place and offer it in another. The Spanish silver dollar was the original basis for the US dollar, which was worth 8 Spanish reales. That's why it was known as pieces of 8. I didn't know that. Silver is convenient. That's because it has considerable value, so you can pay for many things without having to carry around an excessive amount. Silver is consistent. Every piece of silver, large or small, has the same properties as every other. When melted down, they're all indistinguishable. 5, silver has intrinsic value. That means it can be used in other applications, like in industry, so it has a real worth. And there's plenty of work required to find and extract it from Earth, so it'll always have a value. But there's some more characteristics that make it ideal money. Silver can't be printed. When it backs a currency, that limits how much a government can print, avoiding runaway inflation. Silver is nearly indestructible. At worst, it will tarnish. Silver jewelry and coins made thousands of years ago are regularly discovered by archaeologists and treasure hunters. Some are even found by accident. Unless you lose it or sell it, your silver is not going anywhere. Silver has no counterparty risk. Unlike a bond or a stock, you don't depend on someone else to honor it. There's no chance of default. Silver is private. A few ounces gives you direct, discrete control over an asset that is valuable. Silver is liquid. Don't try to drink it. You can sell your silver almost anywhere, anytime. It has often been a lifesaver for displaced people. Silver cannot be hacked. It's not just digits in a database somewhere for you to depend on. It doesn't rely on electricity or the internet to be accessible. And you don't have to remember a code. Silver holds its value. That value, of course, will fluctuate over time, but over years and decades, and especially compared to fiat money, silver always wins out. Naturally, central planners know very well that precious metals make the best money. That's why most central bank vaults hold thousands of tons of gold as reserves. The United States holds more than 8,000 metric tons. Let's just divide 8,000 tons. I think you divide it by 32,000. I think. Let's just do that. I'm getting antsy. It's probably time to go to sleep. So 8,000 divided by, no, multiplied, right? Yeah, multiplied by 32,000, I think. No, I don't want to divide. 8,000 times 32,000. Yeah, 256 million ounces of gold the United States holds. Do you know that little company you invested in? They might have that much gold. Can you imagine? One little company nobody's heard of? You may be able to extrapolate that they have as much gold as the United States Reserve. The United States holds more than 8,000 metric tons. Germany has 3,300. Italy and France store about 24,000 each, 2,400 each. But these central banks also know that backing their currency with silver or gold runs counter to modern monetary theory. Just look up Stephanie Kelton, genius, and their ability to print currency at will for their favorite DEI programs and projects. In short, tying their currency to precious metals is their nemesis. This is the last thing I'm going to read, and then I'm going to sign up. In 1800, Nathan Meyer Rothschild of the Rothschild banking family in the early 1800s famously said, quote, "I care not what puppet is placed upon the throne of England to rule the empire on which the sun never sets. The man who controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire. And I, Nathan Meyer Rothschild, I control the British money supply." All right, it's enough today of silver. All right, any words I applied to Lion were my own. He's very careful. always to say that his advice isn't financial advice, but it is advice. But anyway, it's not really advice. So he'll talk about all sorts of things, and he'll tell you that what is going to happen with a stock, but it's not financial advice. So anyway, it's not financial advice. If I say it's my words, if he says it, it's his words. I sold my, oh, I don't, that's good. I think my math is off. Yeah, it could be. Isn't per ton, aren't there 32,000 ounces? Well, let me find out. Tons to ounces. I will just go tons to ounces. You're probably right, though. All right, tons. I guess I got to go metric tons. 2 ounces. All right, so if I assume they said 8,000 metric tons, it would be 282, that's metric tons, be 282,000, 282 million ounces, 282. It's 35,270 ounces per ton, metric ton. Oh, for pounds. Yeah. I don't know. It's all confusing. And we're late at night and I'm tired. So I think I'm going to sign off. Let's see if there's action in the morning. I'll come on early. Otherwise, I'm going to go get my hair cut and we'll talk tomorrow. And tomorrow's Friday, right? We're one day closer to next week. Next week could be the beginning of the rest of your life.